Oh dear. Deer are so plentiful now in southeast Kentucky, you have to keep that fact in mind anytime you're driving on any road. They don't just like the backcountry anymore, they have become city dwellers as well. When the population explosion began, you were still safe when driving in the city, but now expect one to occur any time to cross the road in front of you. Just a couple of nights ago, my wife and I were coming home. It was one of those perfect deer nights. The temp was in the mid 40s. It was damp, foggy, and truth be known, I was not thinking this is a good deer night. And as it seems to happen with me, here one came from out of nowhere, headed straight across in front of the car. It was the biggest deer I'd ever seen in my life, and it looked to be almost as big as an elk. By the time it got almost even with the front of the car, we had both started to veer in another direction. The deer to the right and me to the left. When it made contact with the car, we were parallel with each other. I did feel a slight bump. I wondered if there might be a small dent in the door, but there was none. In the light of a new day, I could see streaks brushed along the door through the road dust. I worked 20 years in a milk lab measuring the amount of fat in milk. Dairy farmers got paid by the weight of the milk and the amount of fat. I had no set hours. Each farmer had to have 5 tests each month. Sometimes I would go in late, and that made me getting home late. On one of these days, it was beginning to get dark by the time I got to this bridge. I was maybe doing 55 when I got to the end of the bridge. Then, from out of nowhere, here came this 10 or 12 point buck with one thing on his mind: take the shortest route to lose those dogs that were 20 feet or less behind him, yapping with all the joy of the chase. Of course, he shot straight across in front of me. The next thing I saw was looking down through the hood of Ann's Saturn at the blacktop under his belly. I had time to do one thing and one thing only: lift my foot off the gas pedal. And then we made contact. Fortunate for both of us, he was past the center line of the car when that happened. If there had been no time to do anything, I know we would have made contact center of car to center of deer. I also know that if that had happened, he would have rolled right into the windshield. I also believe he would have come through the windshield, and I don't want to think about that. I can't believe how much damage was done to the car, and he was nowhere to be found when I went back to check. The hood alone was crinkled more than halfway. Had to have a new grill and a new headlight assembly. That had to be one tough deer. His adrenaline pump must have been at full throttle. I believe mine was up a notch or two as well. Well, all's well that ends well, and I consider that to have ended very well, as I see it. But the deer might have a different opinion on the subject.